The hum of electric restraints echoed faintly in the sterile chamber, barely audible beneath the flicker of malfunctioning lights. The room reeked of antiseptic and blood, old and fresh. Pale metal walls bore scorched handprints and impact dents where prisoners had once tried to fight back. They hadn't lasted long. Eden Voss didn't scream anymore. Strapped to a steel chair, wrists pinned behind her, she blinked through swollen eyes. Her right cheekbone was fractured, a purpling welt rising around the orbital socket. Dried blood crusted her lip. Her once black tactical suit was torn open across the chest, ribs mottled with bruises, exposed skin marred by needle burns and electric lash marks. But her eyes, green, defiant, sharp, still watched them with fury. Dominion Officer Caliph stood before her, meticulously adjusting a control wand. He was tall and vaguely reptilian, scales glistening under the overhead fluorescence, his narrow face fixed in amused disdain. He circled her slowly, as if inspecting a specimen. Behind him, 2 sentry drones floated silently, red eyes blinking as they recorded every moment. "You humans hold on to pain longer than most species," Caliph remarked, his voice like razors through silk. "I find it fascinating. Inefficient, but fascinating." Eden spat blood at his feet. He stepped back, looked mildly irritated, and raised the wand. "Again," he said flatly. Searing current ripped through her body. Her back arched, fingers clenched, and jaw locked as pain shot through her spine like molten wire. A strangled gasp escaped, but she refused to cry out. She wouldn't give him that. In the adjacent enclosure, separated by transparent alloy, plating reinforced with reactive shielding, something massive shifted. Unit 47 watched. The creature was chained at the neck and limbs, its hulking, muscular frame hunched low. Once a Dominion bioweapon, an apex predator grown in labs from extinct warbeast DNA, it had been a symbol of terror. Now it was caged, dormant, discarded like a rusted blade. Its skin was deep obsidian, patched with metallic neural implants. Eyes like molten gold flicked between Eden and the torturer. Its breathing had changed. Slightly faster. Louder. Not angry. Not yet. Curious. Caliph noticed and smiled. "You're not alone, little Terran. He watches you. And you watch him, don't you?" Eden's head lolled. Her vision swam in pain. But she turned slowly, painstakingly, toward the creature. Her gaze locked with the beast's, and for a moment, the torture room faded. They had met before. Weeks ago, when the Dominion's vessel raided her recon post, they had caged her in the same transport bay as Unit 47. She had fed it scraps from her rations, whispered stories to it when no one was listening. Not out of strategy, out of instinct. Compassion. She had seen the scars, the deliberate mutilation, the control bolts embedded in its spine. It had listened. It had never responded, never moved, but it had watched. Now, the watching had returned. Caliph tilted his head. "Curious bond. You think it pities you? Or is it just waiting to see you break?" He pressed the wand again. Eden's body jerked. The smell of burnt flesh briefly overpowered the antiseptic. A low sound escaped her lips, a choke more than a cry. Her head slumped. She wasn't unconscious. Not quite. Just barely tethered to awareness. Caliph lowered the wand, disappointed. "She's breaking. Perhaps the next round." Eden raised her head. Barely above a whisper, her cracked lips moved. 15 minutes. Caliph frowned. "What?" She repeated it, a whisper like frost on steel. 15 minutes, then you all die." Caliph laughed. "Empty threats. No one's coming. You're alone, human." Eden's eyes didn't look at him anymore. They looked past him, right into Unit 47's golden eyes. The beast tilted its massive head, chains creaking. Its nostrils flared. Caliph's amusement faded. He gestured toward the wall. "Reset the observation drone. Have a system sweep for biosignals." A timer glowed on a wall panel, 15 minutes flat. It began counting down. Caliph didn't notice. He stepped back and addressed the guards. "She'll expire by then. Take her to containment once she stops twitching." The drones hovered closer to Eden, recording the readout from her vitals. Her pulse was erratic. One eye swelled shut. The officers filed out of the room. Unit 47 remained. The door hissed closed, and silence fell again. Only the faint ticking of the timer, the wheeze of Eden's broken breath, and the slow, deliberate inhaling of the beast remained. Eden's head lolled sideways. Her lips barely moved. They hurt me. You saw. The beast didn't move. Don't forget what they did. A long pause. Then something shifted behind its eyes. Not intelligence exactly. Something deeper. Recognition. Memory. The soft, foreign shape of a bond formed where no bond should be. Its claws scratched the alloy floor. Minutes passed. The timer ticked. 12:23. 12:22. Inside the beast, something ancient uncoiled. Not just rage. Not just rebellion. Purpose. Eden's breathing slowed. Her eyes closed, chest barely rising. The light dimmed slightly in the chamber. Emergency power rerouting. A subtle flicker. Systems shifting in preparation for Dominion High Command arrival. All of it irrelevant to the beast. Its shoulder muscles tensed. The alloy plating between them hissed with quiet arcs of blue current. Reinforced. Lethal. Designed to keep the warbeast sedated. But the Dominion had grown complacent. They never imagined it would care. Another whisper escaped Eden. Burn them. Unit 47 rose. Its massive frame towered now. Full height, unfolding like a siege engine waking from slumber. The chains groaned against its movement. Its breath fogged the inner plating. It stared at her unmoving body. Then it leaned forward, its breath fogging the glass, and let out a sound no one had ever recorded from its species. A growl. Low. Resonant. A sound that promised no survival. The timer ticked. 10:48. Then its claws flexed, slowly, deliberately, scoring 4 deep lines into the alloy beneath its feet. A single link in its restraint sparked. No alarm sounded. Not yet. But the silence had changed. The kind of silence that arrives right before a storm. And on the table, Eden's mouth moved one last time. Not words. Just a breath, a name, or maybe a memory. The beast took it in and waited. The facility was quiet in the way deep pressure is quiet. Heavy, suffocating, full of restrained tension. Dominion Outpost Zeta. 9 was buried beneath the crust of a forgotten moon, a prison lab hybrid engineered for secrecy and cruelty. It was never meant to be attacked, never meant to fail. But something had changed. Unit 47 crouched in its cell, muscles bunched, breath steady. Not calm, measured, deliberate. In the flickering blue of emergency lighting, its eyes gleamed like 2 smoldering suns. The restraint bolts on its arms trembled. The first chain link had already fractured from the inside, a calculated flex, a precise rotation of its bone-spiked wrists. The beast wasn't acting out. It was testing. The timer on the wall read 10:12. In the room beyond the glass, Eden Voss's body had slumped forward. Her chest barely rose. Medical readings blinked a warning on the observation drone. Low vitals. Fading signal. But no one rushed to help. No one cared. Not anymore. Unit 47 watched her. It remembered things the Dominion hadn't programmed it to remember. A soft voice whispering between feedings. A hand reaching through the bars with dried ration squares. The scent of fear not aimed at it, but at what waited outside the cage. And a name. Hers. Spoken aloud in a cracked voice when she thought no one was listening. Eden, the beast whispered, almost soundlessly. The name felt alien in its mouthless throat, shaped only in thought. Dominion guards moved through the hallway beyond the sealed torture chamber. The command center buzzed with quiet tension. Officer Caliph stood before a data console, observing troop rotations and maintenance diagnostics. Nothing yet, asked a lower-ranked technician. No contact. Earth hasn't moved, Caliph replied, irritation curling through his voice. Our scan radius shows no drop ships. The girl was bluffing. He gestured toward a projection of Eden's biometrics. Her heart rate hovered just above fatal. Her nervous system showed complete overload. She won't make it another cycle. Shall we retrieve the body, Commander? Leave her. When she dies, incinerate both the corpse and the beast. This experiment's over. Caliph turned his attention to the surveillance grid. Unit 47 was no longer lying down. The beast stood upright now, all restraints taut, claws dragging slow grooves into the alloy beneath its feet. One camera crackled and failed. Then another. Their signals blinked to black. Caliph frowned. What was that? The technician tapped nervously. Power spike, minor surge on cell 6. Likely nothing. Synedrone. No need. Another voice offered from the console. Containment protocols are active. The beast is still secured. Caliph narrowed his eyes at the glitching footage. Something felt off. In the cage, Unit 47 twisted its forearms. Another bolt strained, cracked. The chains were forged to withstand 8 tons of tensile stress. It applied 9. Slowly, quietly. 8:44. The drone hovered closer to Eden's limp form. Her chest no longer rose. Inside the beast, something ruptured. A bond, not forged by command or conditioning, was tearing. It remembered her voice. Not the words, just the tone. The defiance. The way she smiled when her face was bleeding. The way she said, burn them. Unit 47 didn't feel emotion the way humans did, but it understood loss. It understood vengeance. With a sharp exhale, it wrenched its arms upward, one link at a time. The chains gave a final metallic cry before snapping, rebounding across the floor like broken serpents. The beast fell to one knee, not from weakness but to brace. Then it rose, taller than it had ever stood. 8:03. The lights in the corridor outside flickered once. Caliph's brow furrowed. Something's wrong. He tapped into the central security grid. No response from Cell 6. No vitals from Eden. The surveillance camera fed static. He spun toward his guards. Arm yourselves. Go to Cell 6 now. 4 Dominion elites moved instantly. Rifles raised, armor hissing with activation. The door slid open and they moved toward the cell block. They never made it. The first was pulled backward into the shadows by something too fast to track. A gurgle, then silence. The second fired into the dark, only to have its weapon batted aside by a black blur. The impact shattered its helmet and neck in one motion. Blood sprayed against the alloy. The third screamed before a jagged claw plunged through its chest, lifting it clean off the ground. The fourth tried to run. He made it 3 steps before Unit 47 hurled a severed arm like a spear, impaling him through the back. 7-11. The hallway lights went dark. Caliph stared at the feed. His mandibles trembled. That's not possible, he whispered. The kill switches. Why didn't they activate? The technician's voice cracked. The beast, it's not responding to command strings. It's off the neural net. Caliph backed away from the console. Seal the control room. Alert fleet command. Sir, it's all ready. The ceiling above them groaned, then buckled. Unit 47 dropped into the room like a meteor. Not a beast anymore. Something more precise, more deliberate. Its claws tore into the technician before he could scream. Caliph fired a plasma bolt. It scorched the creature's flank, but Unit 47 didn't even slow down. It crossed the space in a heartbeat and slammed him into the bulkhead hard enough to leave a crater. Blood sprayed. Unit 47 paused, breathing hard, chest heaving. Then it turned toward the wall display, toward the camera that had watched Eden, the one that had broadcast her screams. It shattered it with a single backhand swipe. 6:02. Elsewhere, soldiers scrambled. Alarm screamed. Red lights spun wildly across corridors slick with blood. Automated systems failed one by one. The power grid buckled. The Dominion's engineered fortress was beginning to collapse under the weight of something it thought it controlled. Eden hadn't moved. Still limp. Still quiet. Unit 47 returned to her. It dropped to one knee beside her body. Its massive claw reached out. Not with violence, but with something else. It touched her cheek. Roughly. Gently. And then she breathed. A small, shuddering inhale. Alive. Barely. The beast stood upright, shielding her body from the smoke curling in from the ruined corridor. The Dominion was burning. One level at a time. 4:57. Through the fire, it moved. With Eden's body slung across its shoulders, Unit 47 stalked the hallways like a living siege engine. Any guard who raised a weapon died instantly. Not wildly, strategically. The beast had learned their tactics, predicted movement, flanked from angles it had no right to understand. It ripped security turrets from the walls and used them to smash doors down. It broke through containment chambers and ignited gas lines. 322. The Dominion had designed it to obey. Not to think, not to remember, but now it remembered everything. The whip strikes, the cold silence of its cage, and her voice in the dark. As it climbed toward the uppermost chamber, an explosion rocked the level below. The outpost had begun to self-destruct. Good. Unit 47 did not stop. Outside, on the snow-crusted surface of the moon, the horizon flickered red with reflected flame. Emergency towers blinked. A single distress signal sputtered into space, too late, and from the shadows below, something approached the exit, alive, vengeful, carrying the one thing it had ever chosen to protect. 2 o'clock. The girl had whispered 15 minutes. She had no idea just how right she was. Fire rolled behind them, painting the sterile halls in pulsing shades of orange and shadow. Pipes burst. Ceiling panels crashed down in fits of shrapnel and smoke. Dominion Outpost Zeta 9 had lost all sense of control. Emergency lights strobed uselessly across blood-slicked floors. Every corridor stank of plasma burns and ruptured flesh. Unit 47 moved like a force of nature through it all, its obsidian hide glinting with blood and ash, shoulders hunched protectively over the broken human slung across its back. Eden's pulse was faint but steady. Her breath came in shallow, irregular draws. A strip of cloth had been wrapped tight around her abdomen, staunching the worst of the internal bleeding. Her head lolled to the side as the beast charged forward, every footstep thundering like a drumbeat of war. They reached a reinforced blast door at the main elevator shaft. It was sealed, coded to Dominion command protocols. Unit 47 didn't hesitate. It raised one clawed fist and punched through the control panel. Sparks flew. The door groaned, then shuttered open halfway before locking in place. A plasma round screamed through the gap, catching the edge of the beast's shoulder. It staggered, then spun, placing Eden behind the curve of its bulk. Ahead, Dominion soldiers crouched behind makeshift barricades, 6 of them, all armored, rifles glowing. The firelight caught the whites of their eyes. They'd seen what was coming and still couldn't believe it. The beast charged. Gunfire erupted. Bolts lanced through the smoke. One slammed into its thigh, another into its chest. Neither stopped it. It crossed the distance in seconds, barreling through the barricade like a wrecking ball. The first soldier went down screaming as a claw tore through his torso. The second tried to run, but Unit 47 caught him by the ankle and slammed him against the wall until he stopped moving. The third aimed for Eden. The beast noticed. That soldier died the worst. When the corridor fell silent again, Unit 47 stood surrounded by twitching bodies and scattered weapons. It didn't pause to recover. Blood ran in sheets down its arms and pooled beneath its feet, but its eyes never left Eden's face. Her skin had turned pale, lips blue at the edges. The elevator shaft loomed ahead, dark, deep, and dangerous. The beast leapt in. It slid down the rails, sparks trailing behind like comet tails. When it landed 2 levels below, it crouched, bracing for the impact. The steel beneath cracked and groaned but held. Eden didn't move. Her heartbeat wavered. A monitor flickered to life near the exit, a Dominion command link barely functional. A face appeared on the screen. Caliph. Bruised, bleeding, his armor half-melted, the commander glared at the beast through fractured holographics. "You think this ends with me?" he hissed. "You think your rebellion means anything?" Unit 47 said nothing. "You were made to serve. We gave you life. Purpose. Without us, you're just a mistake with claws." The beast stepped closer to the console. Caliph grinned through blood-streaked teeth. "You'll never escape. A cruiser is already inbound. The girl will die, and you." The screen exploded under a single strike. Unit 47 turned and entered the final chamber. This was the facility's operations center, a circular dome of glass and steel, now fractured and burning. Outside, the moon sky was ink black, smeared with clouds of ash. Snow drifted upward in the absence of gravity, twirling past flames like white ash. A lone Dominion lieutenant stood at the far end, trembling, his rifle raised. "I won't let you leave," he shouted, voice cracking. The beast moved faster than sound. By the time the lieutenant blinked, he was already dead, his rifle broken in half, his neck twisted at an impossible angle. Unit 47 didn't stop. It reached the final door, a blast-sealed arch leading to the surface hangar. Beyond it lay freedom, extraction, hope. The beast laid Eden down gently, her body curled into the crook of its arm. For a moment, it just watched her. Her breathing slowed, lips parting slightly. There was blood in her teeth. Her fingers twitched once, as if grasping for something just out of reach. Unit 47 let out a low sound, somewhere between a growl and a mourning cry. Not loud, almost reverent. Then it rose. A wall-mounted comm station crackled to life. "This is Recon 2, en route to Signal Beacon. We're receiving weak vitals. Repeat, human life form detected on surface level. Please respond." The beast turned toward it. A small pause. Then it pressed the activation switch with a claw. Silence. Then a voice, "Hello? What is this?" The beast didn't respond. Instead, it bent down, gathered Eden in both arms, and punched the emergency override on the final door. With a shudder, it opened. Cold wind slammed into them. Snow swirled violently across the landing pad. Ash from the burning base mixed with frost, turning the air into a hellish blizzard of black and white. Above, stars flickered through the roiling smoke. And rising in the distance, like a silent sentinel, was the black hull of a Dominion cruiser, angling into descent. It had arrived. Time had run out. The beast stepped forward, Eden cradled against its chest. She stirred. One eye fluttered open. "You," she whispered. Unit 47 looked down. "Didn't run," she breathed. It shook its head. She smiled. Then her body slackened again, and her hand dropped from his shoulder. The snow howled louder. Unit 47 looked up at the cruiser, still distant but descending fast. Gun batteries glowed beneath its wings. If it landed, they would both be obliterated. The beast turned toward the sky, and it roared. It wasn't just sound. It was declaration. Fury. Grief. Defiance made tangible. The cry shattered what remained of the glass tower behind them and echoed into the vacuum like thunder given flesh. The cruiser didn't pause, but neither did the beast. It knelt and placed Eden down on the snow-covered pad, shielding her body with its own. Behind them, the outpost reactor reached critical overload. Flames reached toward the heavens. Structures crumbled, and the sky above began to ripple. An atmospheric rift tearing open as the extraction team broke through the clouds in low orbit. 3 Earthside drop ships burst from the atmosphere, sleek and angular, bristling with weapons. The Dominion cruiser turned to intercept. The battlefield was set. Eden coughed once, eyes flickering. "You stayed," she whispered again. Unit 47 pressed its brow to hers. And for the first time since it had been born in a lab, twisted into a weapon and chained in darkness, it made a choice. Not to fight, to protect. Not because of programming, because of her. From the skies above, Earth's ships descended in streaks of silver flame, and the beast stood, bloodied and ready, between her and the war to come. The drop ships came in hard, engines howling, retro thrusters kicking up columns of snow and ash across the broken landscape. Dominion plasma fire lanced from the descending cruiser, streaks of blue heat tearing through the upper sky. One Earth ship exploded midair, ripped apart by a direct hit. The others banked, evasive, twisting through incoming fire like birds in a storm. Unit 47 stood unmoving on the scorched landing pad, Eden's fragile body protected beneath its bulk. Flames from the ruined facility licked the sky behind them, casting everything in flickering shades of red. Blood streaked down the beast's legs, but it did not retreat. Not now. Not ever. Above, the Dominion cruiser leveled its primary weapon, a siege-grade plasma cannon capable of atomizing the entire platform. Its energy core charged, humming audibly even from the surface. Lights along the cannon's length blinked red, cycling toward full power. It would not miss. Not this time. The beast stepped forward. It picked Eden up again, arms cradling her gently, and began walking across the landing pad toward the burning tower's remnants. Shrapnel crunched beneath its feet. The air stung with acid particles and charged ions. Snow turned black where it landed. Behind the creature, the cannon finished charging. The blast fired. A white-hot beam descended from the heavens, screaming as it tore through cloud and gravity. It struck the platform, an eruption of molten debris and kinetic shock that shattered the cliffside edge. Fire engulfed everything in a rising mushroom of impact and smoke. But Unit 47 was gone. Beneath the pad's edge, hidden inside a collapsed access tunnel, it crouched over Eden's body, shielding her as the inferno roared past. Heat seared its skin. Metal embedded itself in its back like splinters. But she did not burn. She didn't even stir. The world fell silent. Only the distant whine of Dominion engines and the rumble of Earth's surviving drop ships broke the hush. Eden's eyes opened slowly. She blinked against the dark and tried to move. Pain screamed through her ribs. Her voice rasped. "You still here?" The beast exhaled heavily, nodding once. Its limbs shook from exhaustion, and blood leaked from its wounds in steady rivulets. It had no strength left to run. Above them, Earth Command crackled over the comms, their voices distorted by interference. Ground team, confirm status. Life signs detected. Minimal pulse, confirm human identifier. The beast leaned into the wall and activated a cracked interface panel with its claw. Eden Voss, it transmitted. The voice that came back sounded shocked. That wasn't her voice. Who's transmitting? Identify. The beast stared at the panel for a long moment. Then it didn't respond. Instead, it turned to Eden, who had reached a trembling hand to touch its arm. "You saved me," she murmured. Her voice was small, unsteady. "What?" No growl answered. No data packet or code or interface blinked to life. Only a soft, heavy breath. "You weren't made for this," she said. "They built you to kill, not to care." The beast blinked once. Then, from somewhere deep in its neural core, it recalled her voice, the first moment she had called it something other than a number. The moment she whispered to it through bars in the dark. "You're not a thing," she'd said. "You're someone." Now, as the Dominion cruiser descended again, wounded, yes, but far from finished, the beast rose to its feet, her body in its arms once more. It limped across the smoking ruins toward the rendezvous beacon. Above, Earth's two remaining ships closed in from opposite flanks, weapons armed, targeting uplinks locked. The sky lit with violence. Two sides clashed, fire and light splitting the clouds. Missiles screamed between ships. Plasma bolts collided in midair, tearing each other apart in dazzling flashes. One of Earth's ships slammed into the cruiser's side, detonating on impact, creating a breach along its dorsal spine. A final act of sacrifice. It wasn't enough. The cruiser adjusted course, drifting lower. Its hull peeled open to unleash its final weapon. A drop core holding Dominion shock troopers bred for extermination. The capsule fell like a meteor, burrowing into the surface with a sound like the end of the world. The beast staggered to its knees. It could go no farther. Snow fell again, quiet, like ash after fire. Eden clung weakly to consciousness. Her breath steamed against his shoulder. "We're not making it out," she whispered. The beast didn't answer. A hiss broke the air behind them. The drop core opened. 5 troopers emerged, armor bristling with blades and plasma casters. They fanned out, weapons leveled. The lead soldier raised a translator module. "Leave the female," it said in its tongue. "You may die with some dignity." Unit 47 turned. Eden slid from its arms and crumpled softly to the snow. The beast rose again, barely, legs trembling, claws torn. eyes burning like dying stars. The troopers fired, and the beast moved, not with rage, not even with speed, but with finality. It crossed the space between them in silence. The first plasma bolt tore through its side. The second struck its shoulder and kept going. The third hit Eden instead. She screamed. That broke something inside the beast. It grabbed the lead trooper and crushed his skull before his weapon could reset. It hurled another into a steel girder. Blood sprayed across the snow. The third soldier impaled it with a plasma spear, then was ripped in half for the effort. The last two fired point blank into its chest, but the beast didn't stop. It crushed one underfoot and tore out the other's throat. It was over in seconds. Silence returned. The beast collapsed beside Eden. Its blood steamed in the snow. She dragged herself across the ice, inch by inch, until she reached its side. She pulled herself over its chest, whispering something into the curve of its neck. Don't go. Please. The beast's eyes flickered. From the sky, a final Earth ship descended. This one, fast, silent, small. A medevac delayed by interference. Its ramp lowered as soldiers rushed toward the beacon. They stopped when they saw what lay there. One human girl, one dead drop team, and a dying creature cradled in her arms. The commander stepped forward slowly, rifle low. He took in the scene without a word, then touched his comm. We've got the girl. Injured but stable. There's something else with her. He knelt. Eden looked up, eyes blazing with pain and fury. Touch him, and I'll kill you. The commander stared. He looked at the beast, then back to her. He's one of theirs. Not anymore, she whispered. He studied the wreckage, the corpses, the blood-spattered snow. He nodded. All right, he said softly. We bring them both. They lifted Eden onto a stretcher, careful not to jar her wounds. The beast's eyes fluttered once more. She reached for its hand. It closed around hers, gently, like it finally understood what it meant to hold something without breaking it. As the ramp sealed and the ship lifted from the burning surface, Eden leaned back and closed her eyes. Behind them, the Dominion cruiser began to break apart in the sky, and below, flames consumed the past. Above, a future waited, unknown but chosen. For the first time in its life, Unit 47 wasn't following orders. It was going home,